Good morning and welcome to Beacon Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Summit virtual service, coming to you live this morning from our location at 4 Waldron Avenue in Summit, New Jersey. My name is Tuli, and I have the honor of being this congregation's executive director, as well as their lead for the Lifespan ministry team. We are so grateful you joined us this morning. We would not be the same without you. However you found your way to us, perhaps you came through Facebook or our YouTube channel, don't forget to like and subscribe, or our website, we welcome you. Wherever you are, whoever you are, however you are, perhaps you're in pajamas, we welcome you. It's been a hard week, my friends, as yet another United States city has been added to the long list of those subjected to gun violence. Like you, I'm enraged and filled with sorrow. And yet I must hang on to hope. Hope that we can indeed work towards no longer being embarrassed, as our president said, no longer having to witness more lives lost to gun violence. I'm also mother to 2 brown-skinned boys. And this week has been a stark reminder of how their safety is at risk beyond the everyday risks we take with all of our children. For those of you out there in similar circumstances, know that Beacon can help us navigate these difficult times, not only through our shared work, but also because this largely white congregation has committed to centering the voices of the marginalized and to anti-racism work. I'm so honored and delighted this morning to invite into our live welcome one of our Beacon members, Missy Rogers. Missy, welcome. And would you tell us a little bit about what you've learned during your time at Beacon?
I think one of the most important things I've learned is what the phrase troubling the waters means. I've heard the phrase from civil rights leaders over the years, and I've really come to understand that sometimes troubling the waters just means the waters inside our own brains and the way that we think about things, that sometimes we need to trouble those waters. And other times it means troubling the waters in much bigger, more visible ways. And I appreciate that Beacon gives me the opportunity to look into both of those ways of troubling the waters.
Thank you, Missy. And also, my friends, this week is Earth Day. What will you be doing, I think it's Thursday, to honor our only home? Today, we're excited to welcome into our worship service, you'll hear from them later, climate activists within our congregation and our partners outside the congregation, and they're going to share with us their powerful and transforming ministry. We know that our work is grounded in our inner lives and our intentions. And so let us, as spiritual beings, act and become active from our spiritual grounding. Let us worship together as we prepare for the sacred hour where we can be in touch with what it means to be human, to uncover more fully, to discover more deeply, to peel back the layers, to live with greater intention and attention, to find meaning and purpose, to commit and recommit to building a more just and equitable world. Let us worship together. Missy, won't you lead us in our chalice lighting?
As we light the chalice today, a symbol of our faith, may we allow ourselves to fully enter into the sacred time with gratitude for the blessings of spring, the beauty our earth provides us, and an open heart to hear words of inspiration or challenge or new meaning that will guide us on our journeys to greater truth.
Parking lot
watch the people that don't run a half just to see them. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Shoo, bop, 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 bop. Hey, farmer, farmer, put away the DDT now. Give me spots on my apples, save me the birds and the bees now. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? You pay paradise, put up a parking lot. Bop, 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 shoo. Bop, 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 bop. Late last night, I heard my screen door slam, and a big yellow taxi took away my old man. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? You pay paradise and put up a parking lot. Shoo, bop, 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 bop. Late last night, I heard the screen door slam, and a big yellow tractor took away all my land. Yeah. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? You pay paradise and put up a parking lot. You pay paradise and put up a parking lot. You pay paradise and put up a parking lot. Bop, 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 shoo, shoo, bop, 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 bop. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? Hi there. For our Time for All Ages, we are going to check in with Maya. Some of you will remember that we first met Maya last fall when she had just started school and she was anxious about distancing and having to meet her teacher who was behind a mask. It was all a little nerve-wracking. Maya also had some anxious moments in the fall that her mothers helped her through. Now, Maya is almost a third grader. And can I just say, I still struggle with what it means to have an asynchronous day. Still can't figure it out. But Maya knows what it is. She has managed hybrid school well. And now, with the snows having melted and better weather, she's often outside on safely distanced playdates. We asked Maya to describe her life in 6 words. No more, no less. We also asked her to ask her moms what they would say about their lives. They were up for the challenge. It wasn't the easiest exercise because sometimes the words were just long lists and descriptions of what Maya did or was good at. Like she is good at math and science and writing poetry. Maya didn't think of her interests as an autobiography, not the story of her life, but just a list of things that she did and was good at. So we asked her to tear it up, throw it away, and to start again. And to start again however many times she needed to. Maya loved the tearing up bit. We also told her she could do more than one. One of the first ones Maya wrote was similar to what she experienced on the first day of hybrid school. She was bored. She wrote, "I am bored. Can you help?" When we heard this, we asked her, "Are you really bored? You seem to be enjoying thinking about this. What else could you say about your life?" Maya paused, reflected, threw away her paper, and then wrote, "Not afraid of school any longer. We loved it." To our surprise, Maya threw that one away and wrote, "Stay 6 feet back. I'm distancing. Another gem! Maya's moms, too, had to think hard and to try a few times before they had one that felt okay, and sometimes they had to totally change what they had started out with. Mama wrote, left army, found love, waking's easy. Madre said, proud, queer, kitchen diva, big love. How about you try? Write in 6 words, 1 or more biographies. Maybe you will need to change some and others will be just perfect. We want to hear from you. Here ends our time for all ages.
Each Sunday at Beacon, we invite you to light a candle of sorrow, grief, joy, or celebration. On this, the Sunday before Earth Day, perhaps you are holding in your heart the millions of people around the world who have become climate migrants or have lost their health or loved ones as the direct result of climate change-related catastrophes. Today, we might kindle a light of joyful awe as we ponder the miraculous planet we call home and reflect on our compassionate commitment to nurture the land, water, air, and every precious being on Earth. As we begin the kindling of lights, we draw attention to the thousands who have died this week alone from COVID-19, the impact within our Beacon community, and stretched across the entire world. To date, nearly 3 million people have died in the world from COVID-19. We hold a moment of silence for these lives. Perhaps your heart is heavy with concern over someone dear to you who is struggling with their health or a difficult life issue. Or you may wish to light a candle in memory of a loved one whose life touched yours with intimacy, laughter, friendship, in times of darkness and light. You are welcome to light a candle in your home. We hope that you'll also lift up a name in the chat. We also light our candle of witness for Dante Wright from Minneapolis, who died last Sunday in a police-involved shooting after a traffic stop in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Dante was 20 years old. He was born in Chicago and moved to Minnesota as a young child. He attended high school in Minneapolis and studied at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. According to his sister, Dante was just so goofy. He makes everybody happy. Dante leaves a loving mother, father, and sister, and a girlfriend with whom he shares a 2-year-old son. Last Father's Day, Dante sent this Facebook post to his dad, Aubrey Wright. Happy Father's Day to the best dad I could ask for. Thanks for raising me the way you did. I know it was hard raising a knucklehead. Thanks for always being in my life when some kids didn't have a dad. And I really want to thank you for showing me how to be a dad. We light our candle of witness for Dante Wright. May this ritual of kindling light together offer us solidarity, community, and inspiration in our lives.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to bridges, will you reach out to visions? I reach out to you, will you reach out to visions? With all of our voices, such sweet harmonies. Friends, we could reach such sweet harmonies. I reach out to bridges, will you reach out to visions? I reach out to voices, will you reach out to
Thank you, Dennis Manion, for giving us a sacred space to acknowledge the fullness of our emotions after a week of great loss, a week of reckoning, and a week in which there is such abundant beauty all around us here in northern New Jersey as spring comes alive. And as we celebrate an Earth Day in which we hope to change ourselves so that the world may breathe better, fuller again. Thank you, Dennis, for offering us that space. And so I invite you to take a deep breath with me and join me in a meditation. Close your eyes, get comfortable, but ground yourself in your breath and in the space where you are. Feel the chair or the floor beneath you hold you. And imagine with me, journey with me through your imagination to 100 years from today. That's what breath and imagination can do. They can allow us to journey beyond our time and into other times, moving decade upon decade to April 18th, 2121. You have arrived, beloved. You have arrived. What do you see? What do you hear and smell? What do you feel of this world so far in the future? I imagine that it is neither dystopia nor utopia. I imagine that there are dreams that are emerging, dreams that you have created. When you look around and see these dreams, name them. Say them out loud. Breathing in, I imagine too that there have been challenges, deep challenges that have forced us to reckon with the lies that we tell ourselves. Breathe deep and look around you. What lies have we as a people faced in order to pursue those dreams? Begin to say them out loud. Breathing deeper still, there is a truth that we must face in this day 100 years in the future, and that is that we are not here. We have joined the ancestors. Nevertheless, it is clear from what is all around us that we planted seeds that are now abundant in flower and fruit. Seeds for what we dreamed would be possible. Take them in. And breathing once again, say goodbye. You can always return to this vision through your imagination and your breath to help you continue to plant the seeds in your time. Breathing deeply, let us go home. Back to April 18th, 2021. This day is neither dystopia nor utopia, but we have the seeds in our hands. Let's begin planting. Ashe. Amen. And blessed be.
Hello, I'm Bill Griffith, co-chair of the Green Earth Ministry, Beacon's environmental justice group, also known as GEM.
And I'm Nancy Griffith, Beacon's liaison to UU Faith Action New Jersey.
On 12 Sundays each year, Beacon gives away our plate collection to deserving nonprofit organizations that are living out Beacon's mission to heal the world. I'm delighted to share with you that GEM has selected 2 previous recipients to receive our support this year. The first is La Casa de Don Pedro of Newark. The second is the New Jersey Environmental Justice Alliance, headquartered in Trenton. As you may remember from last year, La Casa has been providing educational and other social services to the people of the north end of Newark since 1972. GEM initially contacted La Casa about supporting its environmental work, which includes both energy conservation by weatherizing homes and also lead remediation and abatement. Then the pandemic struck. Newark is one of the New Jersey cities most affected by COVID-19. Consequently, La Casa had to suspend its environmental work. Many of La Casa's clients were affected directly or indirectly by the pandemic. So Beacon's 2020 donation went to La Casa's COVID-19 relief work, which is ongoing. Fortunately, La Casa has been able to reinitiate its lead remediation and abatement programs. La Casa has new funding for removing lead from Essex County homes with children. But not all homes qualify. Beacon's donation will be used to finance repairs required to qualify homes for the 2 grant-funded programs. So your donation will have high leverage. Now, Nancy will tell you why GEM has once again chosen the New Jersey Environmental Justice Alliance.
We all know that low-income communities and communities of color have been hit hardest by COVID-19. A big part of the reason is that environmental pollution has weakened their lungs and hearts. COVID-19 deaths make the problems obvious, but environmental pollution has already been killing their citizens every day for years. The New Jersey Environmental Justice Alliance is the only statewide advocacy organization focused exclusively on environmental and climate challenges faced by these communities. In 2019, Beacon donated to the New Jersey Environmental Justice Alliance to support their outreach through a renovation of their website. Since that time, New Jersey has enacted the Cumulative Impacts Bill, now known as the Environmental Justice Law, a groundbreaking law nationally. Dr. Nikki Sheets, a co-founder of the New Jersey Environmental Justice Alliance, proposed the law many years ago, but it took at least 10 years to get it passed. When signing it last year, Governor Murphy credited Melissa Miles, the executive director of the New Jersey Environmental Justice Alliance, to finally getting it passed. Under the leadership of Ms. Miles and Dr. Sheets, we expect the New Jersey Environmental Justice Alliance to advocate ways to reduce disease-causing black carbon emissions from diesel truck engines, as well as more generally to promote electrification of the transportation sector. Beacon's 2021 donation will go towards the New Jersey Environmental Justice Alliance's digital outreach effort.
Today and the next 2 Sundays, your non-pledge contributions will go directly to supporting the life-saving, community-sustaining work of La Casa de Don Pedro and the New Jersey Environmental Justice Alliance. Your contribution of whatever size will improve people's lives. Please give from your place of good fortune to help people facing difficult situations in terms of resources, opportunities, and health.
Beacon. When has a handful of words, 3 words, 5 words, 6 words, but no more than 10 words, when has a handful of words changed your life? For Guy Wench, it was on a Friday evening. From his teenage years forward, Guy pursued one goal: becoming a psychologist. As soon as his education had ended and he had achieved his license, Guy opened his private practice. On that particular Friday night, Guy was celebrating the year anniversary of opening his private practice. He entered his apartment building in New York City, jumping onto the elevator with a neighbor who was an emergency room doctor. A few floors up, the elevator came to an abrupt stop. Not at their destination, but stuck in between floors. And that's when the emergency room doctor freaked out, banging on the doors and shouting, "This is my nightmare! This is my nightmare!" Guy took one look at his neighbor and actually said out loud, "And this is my nightmare." It wasn't until later that evening, once they had escaped the elevator and everyone was fine, that those 5 words became more than a moment in a stuck elevator. Even though Guy was living his dream, a successful private practice in his chosen field, he understood that he was living a nightmare. One where his work was never finished, one where he constantly felt depleted. Even when he wasn't working, when he was supposed to be rejuvenating, he couldn't turn off the tasks that he hadn't yet completed, or the conversations that hadn't gone well, or the decisions he still had yet to make. 5 little words awakened Guy to the reality of his life, making way for much needed transformation. What 5 words have changed your life? It is said that Ernest Hemingway created the 6-word memoir. Given an assignment to write his memoir in 6 words, he wrote, "For sale, baby shoes, never worn." Now, this story might be more legend than truth, who knows? But in 2006, magazine founder Larry Smith asked his magazine community to describe their lives in exactly 6 words. A simple invitation led to an explosion of responses by hundreds of thousands of folks, creating 6-word slam competitions and speed dating games and team building exercises. Even God submitted an entry to Larry Smith. Don't make me come down there. On the face of it, the 6-word biography doesn't sound like much more than an icebreaker game. However, as Guy Winch's life demonstrates, it only takes a handful of words to lead us to very necessary, life-altering changes. Let's look at the 3 words that are coming to define the 21st century. I can't breathe. Uttered by Eric Garner in 2014 in the moments before his death. Those 3 words awakened the first wave of white folks to the realities of police brutality, something that was all too real for generations of people of color who knew the words, I can't breathe. These 3 words became sacred chants at vigils and rallies and protests, calling for change. Wake up, America. Change. The chant, I can't breathe, moved from Garner's vigils to the burgeoning people's climate marches. Our home, our planet is gasping for breath. A meaning not at all disconnected from Eric Garner's final words, for the system that killed Garner is the system that is killing our planet. Once again, 3 words awakened folks, this time a new generation who took up the chant and began striking from school. And then, in a year promising perfect vision, 2020 clarity, I Can't Breathe intensified its call upon us as we awakened to a virus that literally targeted our lungs, putting us on respirators and masking our mouths and noses, a virus that exposed layer after layer of inequity in America. So yes, while 3, 6, or 10-word memoir can be full of whimsy and delight and connection, it can also be a powerful seed for waking up and changing. Too many years ago now, I met with a colleague upon her return from a week-long preaching workshop. It was led by an acclaimed speaker, and I met my friend with great anticipation to see all that she had learned. My friend, along with the group of participants, had to bring their best, most beloved sermons and preach before the class. She had confided in me that this was more than a little vulnerable. At the end of their second day, a day in which the group had listened to preacher after preacher, beloved sermon after beloved sermon, the acclaimed speaker rose to deliver her verdict to the class. "My friends," she smiled, "too many words." Their first lesson was a lesson in brevity. Brevity unlocks our transformation, our growth, our becoming. 2 weeks ago, 26 Beacon leaders gathered on Zoom for a 16-hour intensive racial equity training. There was nothing brief about this. It was one of the most transformational experiences of my life. I actually went home and told my family that I felt like it was a requirement for every white American. The first lesson they taught us: uncover your current narrative. Uncover it so that it may change. So here's your spiritual practice for the week, Beacon. Write down all of the stories, the narratives that you tell yourself about yourself, but keep them short. 3, 5, 6 words, no more than 10. Write them down. Listen for things like, "I am my own worst enemy," or "There's never enough time, money, love," or "It'll always be this way." Our narratives are really good at brevity. That's how they become so ingrained. And once they become ingrained, then we start living from them. That's why you've got to uncover them so that you can change. Our racial equity trainers employed this same technique. They asked us to share the ways we think about people who are poor. What are the stories that we tell ourselves? Sadly, it wasn't difficult for our breakout groups to come up with the words. The stories of poor people have become ingrained. What was difficult was saying the words out loud, just as we would never utter the mean words we say to ourselves about ourselves out loud. We keep them private. All of our short narratives went up on the screen, and the trainers paused, letting us take in those words. Narratives, they said, don't have to be true to be effective. Let me just repeat that. Narratives don't have to be true to be effective. The narratives become ingrained, and then they shape our systems. To change them, both personally and politically, you must uncover the lie and organize the truth. Talk about a 6-word memoir. Uncover the lie, organize the truth. How did our leaders organize the truth at our training? We created a 6-word mantra. Poor people, not lazy, lack power. This is how we create change within ourselves and outside in the world. Just like Guy Winch did in his elevator, realize your nightmare, build your dream. I arrived at Beacon as one of your ministers in August of 2005. Newly pregnant with my first child, who is about to be 15, I was about to learn what it meant to be both a minister and a mother. Looking back, it feels like a different time, a different me for sure, and even a different Beacon. That wasn't even our name. That fall, the Board of Trustees gathered with staff at our annual retreat. Having completed the renovation of this building that was 40 years in the making. They had dreamed it 40 years earlier, and it took them 40 years to make that renovation happen. Beacon was now looking to the future. Our centennial was 3 short years away, and the question emerged, who will Beacon be in the next 100 years? So, of course, what did we do? We created a committee. That's what churches do. The committee reached out far and wide into the congregation, inviting members in groups of 6 and 8 and 10 to envision the future for our community. Imagine with me, the leader said, what do you see? And then the leaders sat back and listened. So when the board gathered that fall, having read a thick report, one that I read on the first week I started here, our outside facilitator asked us to do one thing. Get this thick report down to one headline. Get it down to a handful of words. 3, 6, but no more than 10. The facilitator divided us into 3 groups, each with the same goal, and sent us off into other rooms so that we wouldn't hear one another. After 10 minutes, we gathered back together as a larger group, and I remember some good-natured competition about whose headline was going to get the gold star from the facilitator. The first group boldly came forward and unrolled their banner, and the banner said, Summit Unitarians Open Green Sanctuary, Grounded in Justice. We applauded the first group and their 8 words. Laughter came from the 2 other groups, which surprised us. Someone shouted out, "Oh, don't worry, you'll see." And that's when the second and third group actually came up together. They came at the same time, and they unfurled their banners with a flourish. And to our astonishment, they all said the exact same thing. Summit Unitarians, Open Green Sanctuary, Grounded in Justice. In the last 16 years, I have witnessed Beacon live into those 8 words each and every year. Sometimes in the midst of great challenges and steep learning curves. It has been hard to realize them. And there have been too many moments when we thought, we can't do this. This year has certainly been one of them. But those challenges led us to greater change. They unlocked the lies that we tell ourselves so that we might live into those 8 words. As our racial justice trainers taught us, you've got to go through the hard truths to get to the triumphs. And boy, have we journeyed through. Those 8 words led us to create a mission statement, which feels like it has always been so. And that mission statement ultimately led us to face our fears and change a name that had divided us. It forced us to come out of the closet and to begin to shine our light in the world, to claim ourselves as Unitarian Universalists. Those 8 words led us to create a process for taking a public stand. We had never done so before, which led us to partner with Fountain Baptist Church in raising our Black Lives Matter banners, which led us to the adoption of our 8th principle last year. Those 8 words led us to get on buses and march in New York City for the People's Climate March and to strike, to push for legislation that would be fairer on all communities and the environment. And yes, those 8 words led us to vote unanimously to purchase the property next door at 309 Springfield and to design a green building. And that green sanctuary led us to think, What other things could this sanctuary do? And so we started our first nonprofit, our first 501c3, and created the Beacon Hope and Equity Center. Beacon, those 8 words are pushing us to plant seeds that we, 16 years ago, never imagined possible. Who we are in 100 years from today as individuals, as a faith community, and as a world will be shaped by the handful of words that guide our lives. What will your words be? What will our words be? Let's invest in our dreams, not our nightmares. Beloved, may it be so. Ashe.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
With gratitude for the sacred time we've shared together this morning, we head out into the world and into our weeks with the words of Mickey Scott Bay Jones, called Brave Space, for we intend to live out its call. Together we will create brave space, because there is no such thing as safe space. We exist in the real world. We all carry scars and we've all caused wounds. In this space, we seek to turn down the volume of the outside world. We amplify voices that fight to be heard elsewhere. We call each other to more truth and love. We have the right to start somewhere and continue to grow. We have the responsibility to examine what we think we know. We will not be perfect. This space will not be perfect. It will not always be what we wish it to be. But it will be our brave space together, and we will work on it side by side. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be.